Flight boss, bitch. For sure. You're now listening to the Mind of an Terry Smooth. I'm the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And we're gonna do another quick video on depression. You see what I'm saying? Because depression is not something that you need to be going to the hospital for, getting a bunch of pills that drown you out, or it is not a circumstance or a situation where you need to go see a psychologist. You see what I'm saying? When we dealing with depression, this is anytime your spirit is deeply pressed up against a issue. Now you can go to my video about small issues, big problems, on how to rectify issues so issues don't become big problems, because all issues are small by default, and the moment you let it become a big problem is because you gave that small issue too much energy, aka too much of your thoughts and your emotions and feelings, and then you have accumulated too much fire and water within that seed and have expanded to the point that it can become an air or earthly particle, to the point that other people can observe it and it can be made sense out of. Now, for the most part, or something that cannot, or it can be seen as not making sense. But when we talk about depression, right? Depression is when you're deeply pressed up against an issue. Now, this issue a lot of times may not even be your issue. So a lot of times you may wake up depressed and may not know why you're depressed. So you carry someone else's burden or someone else's worry or someone else's feelings is on you at the moment. So for the most part, you could just wake up on the wrong side of the bed based upon someone else's energetic wave pushing you on that side before you woke up. So for the most part, your state of being can be fucked up carrying someone else's baggage based upon the people or the company you keep. So keep that in mind also. And it could play out into the possessions that you have and the locations that you be also, based upon you walking into doors, how many people have been walked and touched that handle that you have this touch to walk into that area or that lobby or whatever. So for the most part, this goes into a lot of different realms of realities. I understand this. For the most part, I go get my daughter from school every day, so I have to go open that door every day. So me being as spiritual as I am, I get overwhelmed sometimes by how much energetic influences that I receive based upon that shit. But for the most part, that's a whole nother video and things of that nature, because I want to teach you how to decipher dreams, to understand the space and the location that you're in and how things is rotating there, whether you're awake or asleep. There's things going on, period. But when we talk about depression, right? Ooh, shit. Depression is being deeply pressed up against an issue. Now, this issue became something like a spiritual ankle block, and it's dragging you all the way to the deep end of this water, aka this imagination, this realm of reality you have let your spirit fall into. You see what I'm saying? So for the most part, you're like drowning. You're not swimming above waters. You're basically drowning, and you're letting whatever issue become a solid or physical shape or form to hinder you. It becomes a blockage, a square, an envelope. It becomes a 90-degree angle. It becomes something you have to learn from. And if you don't learn how to detach from that circumstance or situation, then it's going to be a part of you until you learn how to detach from it. And the more it's a part of you, it's going to accumulate and become more and more and more, to the point that more and more and more equals more weight, aka more heaviness on your spirit, to the point that you cannot leave that realm. So you're going to continue going through experiences that represents the influence or the energy of that light or that ray or that conscious or that current. So you need to understand that. So when we talk about depression, this is something that everybody can get up out of, and it doesn't take any severe catastrophic procedure. Now, for the most part, now here's the thing, right? Because when you talk about going deep, now deep is talking about going in something. If you're going deep, you have to go into something. So if you're going into a river, a pool, you're going into a concept. Anytime you're going into a container, anytime you're putting your spirit into a container, aka having an idea or concept about something that predates you. You ain't got your own idea or concept about it. You got a predated idea or concept about it, and then that precept, concept, or frequency start to make you vibrate, aka make you feel a certain way about that. And based upon how it's making you feel, you're going to be able to resonate with it and be familiar with it, and or you're going to be nervous and it's going to be a new experience. And based upon what you develop from it, it's going to be based upon your spiritual strength and your testimony. So don't let someone else's testimony be yours. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, here's the thing, right? when we talk about depression and you're getting into the situation where you're going deep. Now, deep, you have to go within a container. Now, a container is something that's created. So for the most part, the container is always the creation. It's the L. It's the light. So it's the form that you have already created. It's not even back to supported by a new experience. It's back to supported by something that's previously already been experienced. Otherwise, it wouldn't be able to hold any information. You see what I'm saying? It wouldn't be a body. It wouldn't be a shape. It wouldn't be a womb. It wouldn't be a square. It wouldn't be a sender. It wouldn't be a messenger. It wouldn't be anything to hold anything if it wasn't condensed. So for something to become condensed, it had to be a new experience first. So for the most part, this is second hand. This is coming later hand. This is the day. This is masculine. This is after the fact. So keep that in mind. You see what I'm saying? And they go that zigzag thing again, right? In the fourth, fifth, or sixth dimension, the number 2 is masculine, right? Because it came second. But in the third dimension, the masculine energy is number 1, because being masculine is being selfish. So there's that little zigzag when you get something meaning one thing in a higher realm and it mean totally something different in the lower realm or a higher realm above it, you know. But like I said, anytime you're talking about something deep, you have to go within something. So if you're going within something, this is something that's created. So when you create something that's being created out of something that was already there, right? So for the most part, when you're going into something, you have to go into a waters, or you have to go into a material, or you have to go into a concept. And if it's pre-existing you, right, that means it's an imagination. It's a past. It's a past reference. It's an Akashic records. It's something you have already experienced. So it's already in a form of not lightening your load. So for the most part, if you are experiencing any form of depression, you are not practicing in your life any form of lightening your load, or getting spiritually light, or being enlightened in any way, shape, or form, because therefore you're attaching certain things that's attached to memory, aka memory. You put the water, the M upside down, that's water. So water, that's why memory, water holds memory. And for the most part, when you're talking about things of that nature, memory is like water in the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimension. So for you to be able to take your spirit and go to a past state of being, or a past location in the astral realm that you have already spiritually traveled in, you're already indulging, or you're already going within a tunnel, or you're going within a womb, or you're going within a circumstance or a situation that you have already experienced. So for the most part, you really shouldn't be playing around in that area already. But for the most part, people are lost and light, and people who may not have developed brain waves to actually overcome certain past brain waves that they just came from, aka a person who may be handicapped a little bit in the body that they have picked spiritually, right? So for the most part, they may not be able to actually detach from this, or actually know that this is what they're actually doing, which is going to the past, or indulging in some way, shape, or form, or being stuck or stagnated, being concealed, or being a genie inside a capsule, or they call it a bottle, a bottle, or some things of that nature and shit, like, you see what I'm saying? Or entrapping your spirit in some way, shape, or form. Now, for the most part, when you do go deep, that means it's correlated and is relative to going to the past in some way, shape, or form, right? So you're going to a memory, or you're going into an emotion, or you're going into a feeling, aka an emotion and feeling. That's the most lightest memory you have. That's because it's like you. It's what's familiar to you. It represents your state of being. So even though it's still close to the present, which is your emotions and feelings, it's still you going in within yourself. So it's still you going in the past in some way, shape, or form. Because when you go into it's like when you go into yourself, it's a phase. So it's like you ain't going into nobody else, so you're going in within yourself. So that's correlated to down, back, past, resent, depression, forgetting, feeling like you're forgetting something, leaving something behind, you know what I'm saying, backpedaling, backtrailing, you know what I'm saying, and being consciously aware of Akashic records. So for the most part, the past and going back and going deep and going down is all, and the feminine energy is all related in some way, shape, or form. What I'm trying to get you to understand, basically, you know what I'm saying, from a fourth, fifth, and sixth dimensional aspect, you know. Now, so going deep, you know what I'm saying, is in the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimension, directional wise, because there's no direction there, but your ability to move, your only way of going deep is for you to go back. in the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimension. That's your only ability to go deep into anything. You see what I'm saying? Otherwise, you're going to be rising or going forward to circumstances or situations, or stand stagnated. But for the most part, now when you go into a past scenario or circumstance, right? Now, once you it's still a realm, it's a world, because you have traveled through it. So it's still a bubble that your spirit could go into and experience all the shapes and forms that you have manifested out of that situation, aka your rotation in that experience, everything that you have molded out of it. You see what I'm saying? This is where mold come from. See, anytime you talk about mold, hold, soul, the old, anything attached to that old tongue vibration is a container. You see what I'm saying? And it condenses. What condenses is the offspring of that, but it's a container that holds things. You know what I'm saying? So when you go too far into the past, now here's the thing. Now it becomes to a point that you're going deep. Like I said, it's related to going down also. So for the most part, without coming for a breath of fresh air, aka coming back to the realm of reality that you was born into, it's a bubble. Now we're all in water, but when you're born into a realm of reality, you start to always think that you're reaching land. So you always think you're reaching the air and the earth aspect of would you coming out of the water and fire. You see what I'm saying? So you becoming a fire being, an idea, you come being a water being, which is a sea creature, and you becoming a land creature, which is the air and water. You developing your left brains, which is the left brains can only receive the lighter aspects of the frequency vibrations. It's not internal or inside like your right brains. Like when we talk about your sexual organs, your kidneys, your stomach, your heart, you know what I'm saying? These things could be up underwater. But once we start to talk about your left brains, then you start developing, these are technologies, these are spaceships, you know what I'm saying, and different type of realms of realities in order for you to travel in different ways. So the physical shapes and forms of these things cannot be submerged in the dense water of where you came from, as far as you being a spirit creating shapes and forms and coming up out of the lower chakras. That's you see what I'm saying? Y'all get me? You know what I'm saying? I think I need to make a whole video on that by itself, because my videos, I just be dropping so much shit that each 10 seconds of my videos could be a video of its own. You see what I'm saying? So like a video that's titled this could be a whole discovery of a whole different science. You know, it's like, it's weird. So I have to learn how to be more structured. And I know that's where my lack of fire come in at. I mean, my fire come in. Sometimes I'm not anchored into a directing of what I'm trying to inform y'all on, because it's so scattered. But it's all relative, because this is the realm I live in. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, being depressed, right? Now you're going into a world of the past. You're going into a realm that you have already experienced. Now, anytime you constantly experiencing something new, this is why you have new ideas about, or have regrets, because you be like, damn, I should have did that, or I should have did this. You have created a spaceship, a thought form, to go back into an Akashic record, a past memory, or waters, or deep, or going down. And then you, as a spirit, you go into that to go there. So now, like I said, spiritually, your highest nature is the power of belief, right? So, and then your godly nature is new experiences. So you're always having new experiences, whether you like it or not. A lot of times y'all just run from it. Y'all run to familiarity. This is why y'all have to keep cleaning y'all house. You know what I'm saying? Because even though the house is familiar, you keep having new experiences on lighter notes, aka eating new food every day, or eating new things every day. You got new trash. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's woo. I need to hit an L if I could come 3D. I'm not 3D for y'all. So shit, only my soul group gonna be here to understand where the rest of this video gonna go. You know what I'm saying? Now, for the most part, like I said, when you talk about depression, y'all go down, y'all go deep. Now, as a spirit, you go in that motherfucker, right? So for the most part, you start to go down. Now, you might get lost. So as you constantly create new experiences, when you go into the past, into that vehicle to go into the past, you start creating new experiences there. So now you start to lose and forget that you was in the present, and you start to add on and start to create and keep manifesting into a location in the astral realm that you have already was in. You was already in that bubble. So you just go back into the past and you want to keep creating there, keep creating new experiences there, new ideas, new feelings and emotions to the point you get lost there. And in the current state, in the present, it's going to start to play out as the terms that we created as depression. So other people are going to start to look at you as depressed, and then the way that you're going to be acting amongst others and your characteristics is going to be back to supported by the meaning that we gave depression in the present time. But really what it actually is just you getting lost into one of your vehicles that's in your Akashic records, or in a location in the astral realm that you have already previously traveled through. So you could drown yourself, aka lose yourself, to the point that that's all you see. So you don't even see the present, you just see the past. So whatever realm or world that is, that's all you're going to see. So whatever person, place, or thing that affected you to keep putting you back into that world in the present day, that's all you see from them. You just see the past, what happened. So you can't let bygones be bygones. You can't turn the other cheek, that's not even a good thing to do a lot of times. So that's in a whole nother video I'm gonna break down, turning the other cheek and letting bygones be bygones. But for the most part, that is a good science that spirit have taught y'all to actually utilize from time to time, because it is good to turn the other cheek sometimes, and it is good to let bygones be bygones sometimes. For the sake of, look at it like this: say you have children with someone, right? And then you guys are no longer on good terms, but that it is always good to be in a circumstance where that don't affect the child. You see what I'm saying? So for the most part, that puts you in a circumstance or a situation where you're understanding things, you know what I'm saying, and you're not getting attached to things, and you're not getting lost into the past to the point that that's all you see in the present. And then you're not able to construct a better future. Then a future look just like the past. And then really, in the third dimension, it just looked like you're a stagnated person, that you don't have no movement. You can't get out the past, you can't move in the future, so you just look like you're stuck in one position. And a lot of times, if it's not in the present, a lot of people will look at you like you are a lost person. You see what I'm saying? Because you're not in the present, so where are you? You know what I'm saying? Your physical might be here, but we create vehicles every day. Where you at may not be in the present, may not be in the future, and maybe so gone, lost in the past somewhere that it takes a scuba diver to come find your ass. And a lot of times, scuba divers don't be having sufficient machinery or submarines to be going that deep. Because if you got your own current, that's your own pool in your own backyard. We don't know how deep that is. So if you got a scuba diver who can't dive that deep, that's like a psychologist who can't reach a person who's too depressed. You know what I'm saying? So, right now, this is all about you fighting the urges of feeling the need that you have to actually go deep. You don't necessarily have to go deep. And this is what you can learn from the 8th house and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? People think being deep is actually a good thing. No, there's a gift and a curse to everything. Being too deep, because you could become drowned. There's actually a good thing into coming up for a breath of fresh air. You know what I'm saying? There's actually a good thing into drying off sometimes. See what I'm saying? So utilize that towel and utilize that air, that thinking and communicating, and that practicality and making sense out of things. You need to utilize those elements, earth and air. You know what I'm saying? From time to time, and don't get too drowned into your waters or get too lost into the future, because even getting too lost into your fires sometimes could lose yourself. Fire is correlated to the future. Water is correlated to the past. Earth is correlated to the present. Air travels all between. So you need to utilize all elements to actually understand. But for the most part, fire is correlated to the future. And a lot of times, a lot of people get lost into their future, or get lost into their imagination, or into their creativity, to the point that they burn out the past. They burn out everything that actually helped them get to where they got today. So it's like, goddamn, you done lost your past. You done lost everybody who helped you got there. Now you ain't got no memory. You a real forgetful person. You know what I'm saying? You didn't forgot what motherfuckers done for you and things of that nature, and you just exhausted yourself into the future and imagination, to the point that now you don't know where you're going, because to know where you're going, you have to know where you came from. But you didn't forgot where you came from based upon you having some fucking new dream or imagination, aka some fucking fire. So don't get lost into the future either. You know what I'm saying? You gotta utilize all this shit. So when we talk about being depressed, we're going to get to the stage right now where let's actually help, and you can help yourself. Now, this is how you help yourself: fighting the urges of getting deep. You see what I'm saying? Or so if you're around people, a lot of times people who are depressed subconsciously grew up around family members that played characteristics of overstressing things, overstressing matters, making small issues into big problems. So if you have parents or grandparents or siblings or friends that you have grew up around like this, they are part of the cause. Try to slowly but surely cut these people antics. You ain't got to cut people out of your life, but cut their antics out of your life. And kind of the more you start to shorten things up, you shorten the breath, you shorten the span, you shorten the lifespan of a mineral or a parasite or a bacteria. You shorten the lifespan of it. You see what I'm saying? You freeze it. You don't want to freeze it. You want to add heat to it. So for the most part, you want to see it for what it is, and you don't want to hold on to it. So you want to burn it out a little bit, steam it up a little bit, and therefore you're not honing in on whatever these person's characteristics and things of that nature. So therefore, anytime you're disconnecting yourself from something, that's like lightening up something ain't as heavy. So your load is being lightened, so you're not going to be as deep. You know what I'm saying? Slowly but surely, you're going to start floating up. Once you detach from a lot of these people's characteristics, start to understand that these people's characteristics has nothing to do with how you need to be moving or how you need to be acting and things of that nature. Also, when we get into start eating lighter, you know what I'm saying? So start eating lighter foods. Now when we start to get into foods, I don't want people to start to get over crazy about being vegan or vegetarian or things of that nature. It doesn't, you need to eat what's true to your state of being. Your mechanisms and your space and where you came from might resonate with the bacteria that's in certain animals or fruits more than others. So it might be something that your physical form actually needs to sustain itself in this astral travel. So don't let no one else teach you about like diet. Everybody need to come up and construct their own diet. Period. Like, don't listen to me and think that you just hear me say I drink only cranberry juice and lemon juice and think that that's something to do. That's just something my body was here to do to sustain itself. So that was the experiences in my life and the conclusions that I had to come to. But you know what I'm saying? But when I'm talking about you and depression and things of that nature, I don't deal with any area of depression. But this is how I'm just describing many different ways. You could do it through food, education, conscious awareness, who you're around. It doesn't have to result into you going into the hospital and things of that nature. Now lightening the concept of people that's around you is one of the ways. Here's another way right here when we're dealing with food, eating lighter, right? So try not to eat so heavy. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter what you eat. Like I said, you can motherfucking eat hamburgers. I don't give a fuck what you eat. But try to eat lighter. You know what I'm saying? Therefore, you don't have a whole bunch of shit sitting in you. Keyword, shit. You know what I'm saying? But I mean this esoterically. So, you know what I'm saying? These things, anytime you're planning out an energy signature, it doesn't matter what it looks like in this illusion. It's the same energy signature. You see what I'm saying? So you're planning out heavy characteristics when you're eating too much. So that's being heavy. You know what I'm saying? So for the most part, slowly but surely, you're going to manifest a circumstance or a situation that play out heavy. And depression, going deep, going into the past, heaviness, being lost in some type of emotion and feeling is all related. So you need to know the root causes of how things are being manifested. And a lot of times what you're eating, it come from certain energy signatures, aka the experience that it went through and catastrophic moments it went through in order for it before it got into your hands. You know what I'm saying? These are still energy signatures that it is carrying from the bread of it, the lettuce of it, the meat of it, or whatever you're eating. It doesn't mean it even, I don't care if you're vegan. You know what I'm saying? And things of that nature, right? You could be a person who's heavily putting a whole bunch of emotions and feelings on wanting to eat right. You're going to slowly but surely manifest a depression scenario for you, right? Because you're going to end up putting yourself in a situation where you end up going broke over just trying to eat right. So you manifest a depressed situation, but the way you looking at it, you might not be looking at it in that way because you thinking that, okay, it's good, it's for my health or whatever like that. But slowly but surely, you're not knowing that depression is just an energy signature in itself. And the mechanisms and the elements that's impact with it is forms of heaviness, too much of something, And that's going into realms that'll take you into waters, that'll take you into going into the past of something, that'll take you, and then you end up being depressed. So for the most part, say you're a heavy earth sign, or a lot of air in your chart, or a lot of earth in your chart, right? You might be a person who's purely predicated on the present. So you might overstress about fixating what's going on now. So anytime somebody around you trying to put you into your waters of fire, aka try to make you think about the future, or try to make you think about the past in some type of way, you try to get away from these people, and you make it your duty to get away from these people. So you might be the type of person who like to over distract yourself, make yourself busy a lot of times. So yeah, you might be getting you might be business savvy and get a lot of money and shit and things of that nature. But here's what happens: you start to look wear and tear, right? And you start to feel depressed, and then you start to put meanings and reasonings on your own depression. You start to feel like you're depressed because of other people trying to put you into the past, or other people trying to make you to the future, and you're just trying to stay on task. No, you're making yourself depressed because you're too forcefully trying to stress yourself onto being in the present. So it doesn't matter how you're looking at the angle. If you're participating in too much or too heaviness of something, you're going to play out a small portion in your life of experiencing depression. See what I'm saying? So I'm just trying to get you to understand how to lighten your load, aka try not to overindulge into any metaphysics of things. Because once you overindulge into an idea, concept, frequency, or vibration, slowly but surely it'll start to become third dimensional, where you start to overindulge into food, or overindulge into habits, or overindulge into exercising, or overindulge into trying to be consciously aware of everything, and trying to be quote unquote conscious. You know, in the subconscious community, I need you to relax. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to be depressed about anything. And anything that's not going into your favor, aka any current body of water that you're in flowing. If you have to go against the wave at that moment, you know what I'm saying, you'll learn that that's an experience that you should be enjoying at the moment, regardless of it appearing to be enjoyable or not. And you know how much knowledge and science, and how much gems and rings and levels of expansion your spirit gonna do? And that's something you have to experience on your own. I can only take you to the river for you could drink. But you have to walk and meet people and learn things and understand that realm and build on that yourself. And then it'll all make sense. You'll come back to this video and be like, God damn, you right. Flight boss, bitch, goddamn air. Let's not be depressed out this motherfucker.